So you're on, Ave.
Hi, welcome to Virtual Tarot, Gemini, and to your September reading. I'm Ava.
And I'm Trudy, your fellow bipolar soul sister. Also a Gemini.
Yes. I have no Gemini. Nothing.
Yeah. We're air signs.
Yes.
Sometimes airheads, but mostly air signs. Okay, so we're going to read for you for the month of September. Obviously, we're doing a hangout for you, Gemini, this month, and for all of our other signs, because we've had lots of inclement weather, and Ava and I actually couldn't get together. So this is a sunny, actually it's a sunny week, right, Ava?
Yes, it's not too bad right now. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, that's why we're doing hangouts. So we're going to hang out with you. Anyway, that said, what do we do here at Virtual Tarot? We read for every astro sign. We do a 4-card tarot reading for every sign. And we've been doing this for 2 years. And what we do is we tell the narrative of your life. And we give you advice and we predict the future so that you can be prepared.
Right.
Run on, Ava.
Forewarned is forearmed. That's our motto.
That's right. So strap yourself in, Gemini, because we're going to tell you what we do, and then we're going to go into last month's recap.
Yes, so we do a 4-card spread. The first card represents the overall energy or environment of the month. The second is the challenge that or something that opposes you that you have to deal with. And Trudy, tell them what the third and the fourth card represent.
I will. So the third card represents the unexpected. It's nice to know what to expect. And then the last card represents the outcome of all the 4 cards. And we will create a narrative around that, inspired by spirit. We'll give you some counseling, and then we'll send you on your way. So with that said, let's get into last month's recap, Gemini. What was going on in the month of August? We are in the month of August right now. And the first card that Spirit pulled for you was the Magician. And I'm going to hold these cards up as best I can so that you can see them. The Magician reversed. Okay. So Ava's going to talk about that a little bit.
Yes, it's when you see the Magician reversed, it's a form of self-sabotage going on, having to do with a feeling of being drained of your confidence in your skills, in your methods, in your what you know, and consequently, it can lead to either sort of a bravado attitude where you are constantly self-congratulating yourself. This is a reaction to lack of confidence, or the opposite, which is you belittle yourself too much, or you are short-selling yourself one way or the other. This is the mood of the month. Something has created this doubt in your mind about what you can do, how well you can do that thing. And consequently, it either leads to tremendous egoism or the opposite, which is sort of self-criticism, over self-criticism, one or the other. There you go.
And you may even swing between the two.
And you might, exactly, Trudy. You might be going between the two.
Yeah.
Telling everybody what a wonderful person you are, how great you are at something, but then secretly inside you feel, oh my God, can I really do this?
Yeah. Yeah. Can I produce?
Can I produce? Do I have the merit to do this? You know?
Am I all that?
Right. Am I? Yeah, exactly.
This is the Am I All That card.
Yeah.
So
In
then-
reverse.
Yeah, there you go. So then in the next position we had, and again, here I hold this card up as best I can. Okay, this is a great card to come up, actually, because there's a whole lot of spiritual counsel behind this card. And it is the Eight of Swords. So if you can see the card, it's kind of self-explanatory. But anyway, so in the position of challenge, you're sort of bound by your own negative thinking. And going along with this magician, there's some I can't kind of thinking that's happening or has been happening in the month of August. And maybe that's why you're not able to, or you haven't so far turned the last card around, which will produce soon. But you know, this is your challenge this month. It's to change your way of thinking, because if you do that, you're going to be able to walk into a whole new paradigm, and that's the promise of August. And these negative thoughts have been laid down via perhaps a past relationship, past experience. This could be like stuff that's been going on for a very long time. But now your challenge is to replace that negative thinking with new thinking.
Or to take that blindfold off and to face the facts.
That too. Yep. Yep.
Right. All right. And
then in the okay, I gotta hold this card up. It is the third card in the position of the unexpected. We have the Two of Pentacles. You want to talk about that?
yeah, sure. So despite the internal challenges that you're facing this month, you're nonetheless able to do this beautiful, exquisite, acrobatic dance in which you maintain several projects, several situations in a balanced way. So you're keeping things going despite the feeling of this I won't be able to feeling of the month. Nonetheless, unexpectedly, you manage it all beautifully, as most Geminis are good at. They are good at managing several situations in a very deft way. That's it.
And then in the last yes, you are right, Master Ava. Okay. In the last position, and this was the reason why I referred to that beautiful eight, okay, that Eight of Swords, the challenge position. This is the promise, okay? So the World came up for you. It's a fabulous card, last card in the Major Arcana. It's the end of the journey. You're almost there. You're almost ready to graduate. You're almost ready to enter this whole new, beautiful sort of, you're going to have a new outlook. You're going to be able to see things with fresh eyes. You're going to get to the finish line. You're going to create whatever it is that you've been working on. The World. That's the promise. However, it is in the reverse. And so I'm going to hand it over to Ava, a little more about that.
All right. So, well, of course, there's intense emotions surrounding this. You're feeling extremely emotional because of the new world, the new paradigm that you are about to enter, the new construct. But you haven't quite come to understand how all the new elements, the new information that you've received is going to fit in with this whole new lifestyle, new life circumstance, new world you're creating for yourself. You don't know quite yet how it's all going to work together. So it's sort of consequently, it's hard to give birth to that yet, but it's there. It's pushing on you to do so.
And there may have been two possibilities going on.
Yes, that's true too.
Because we had that pentacle, that two pentacles come up. Or it could just be that you're managing your finances. That's sort of
and
by the way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all this is going on. You have to like make money. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the way that they've designed the entire system.
Yeah, that certainly makes sense.
I don't approve. I don't think it's wise.
Yeah.
But that's the way it goes.
It's really very true for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see if can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh wow. Yeah, we lost me.
Oh really?
Yep. So well, there I am.
All right.
You don't want to lose Trudy during a Gemini reading, that's for sure. Okay. Well, I'm shuffling the cards, everyone. So I wanted you to know that here we shuffle spontaneously every month. Everything's live. Even when you see us with all the fancy editing, it's all spontaneous.
Next month, we're going to do something really spectacular as a contrast to this month.
You never know what we're going to do.
You never know what we're going to do.
That's right. Okay, one more shuffle. And I have done such a good job this month. Not a tower has been pulled.
Love, love, love.
Just love. Lots of love.
Yes.
Lots and lots of love. Of course, Gemini never gets love. We always get money, work.
That's not true.
Swords. We always get a lot of swords.
You had 2 men last month, the month before last.
No, that was July. We had 2 men in July.
Yes. You made your choice.
You have to comment. I actually did have 2 men in July.
Yes.
It's true. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to cut them a little more. Okay. You ready?
Yep.
I'm going to hold these cards up so Ava can put a little bit of white light on them.
Oh, where's my white? Where's my?
She's got her magic wand. Okay. So here we go. Thanks, Ava.
All right.
All right. Here we go. Okay, Gemini. What is going to come up for our little gems? And we get the Knight of Cups reversed. The Knight of Cups. So, my bad. I just said Gemini never gets cups, never gets love. Well, I'm kind of right, though, because this is the Knight of Cups reversed. So what is the Knight of Cups? The Knight of Cups is a few things. It could mean that there will be, in the upright, a movement of love, passion, joy, Prince Charming, expectation of love. But this is all about sweet sentiment and movement of that throughout the month. It would color the entire month. It can also mean that there's some mediation that's going on this month and that you are a mediator or the maker of peace. But in the inverse, this can mean that it's not working for you the way you would like for it to. Perhaps love has come into your life, but it's stalling, maybe. Or there's a situation going on even where you are called to become peacemaker and you, perhaps you stand back from the situation and you're withdrawn. You're withdrawing your energy, I guess. That's kind of what I see here. It's an interesting card to come up, you know, in the overall environment for the month. But what do you think, Ave?
Well, okay. I think that you really have to, this month, become more aware of your own needs, what it is that satisfies you on a deep level emotionally. You need to get clear on that, because what can happen is that you could be easily manipulated by someone who may not have your best interest at heart, or could dazzle you in some way on an emotional level. And it's up to you to heed your intuitive knowing and not to ignore what it is you're feeling on a deep level about another person, another situation, some sort of environmental factor that is intruding itself on you, and you're ignoring your heart of hearts here, what you really, really want, in a sense, because so much else may be distracting you from that you're not paying enough attention to the deeper needs, desires that would truly fulfill you. That's what I think it is.
Well, it's interesting because I feel as if while you're saying that it could also mean that you're holding back. Maybe there's an affair or there's a romantic relationship that's come your way and you're withdrawn for some reason. Next card to come up. Boy, we're getting perhaps a relationship love reading here,
right,
for Gemini. Interesting. Now we have the Judgment card, a major arcana Judgment card in the position of challenge. And it is reversed. Not unlike the first card. Can you hear me, Ava?
No. Oh, there you are. Yes, I finally can hear you. I'm sorry, we got disconnected.
Right, we just had a little lag there.
All right, sorry. So what were you saying? I didn't hear you.
We have Judgment reversed. Judgment reversed. So
can't hear you.
So Judgment reversed can speak to, well, it's a major arcana card and it's in the position of challenge. So I'm going to write the card first of all and speak to it. Okay, so this card, whenever I see this card, I always think once you know something, you can't unknow that thing. So it's kind of like an epiphany, something that you've learned that changes you, that allows you to rise to the next level, and heed the call of who you are, become a better you. Okay, because that's what we're all trying to do. We're all trying to become the best that we can be, you know. So this card is in the position of challenge, and so in the reverse, it would say that you're not listening or you're not willing to learn something. Okay, you know it already. You're already in tune with this, you're in tune with your spirit, you have this sense, okay, that something's off. But your challenge is to actually digest that and accept that and live toward that. Okay, let me see if I have Miss Ava back. Are you back, Ave?
All right, I can hear you now, thankfully.
I lost you for a little while.
So all right, what the Judgment is about new insight, new knowledge that you have. You know something. You have wisdom, insight, understanding, but for some reason you're afraid to share it. You're afraid to bring it out into the open. You're keeping you're keeping everything under a bushel, in a sense. You know, all this, you're keeping it to yourself instead of sharing it out there with the world. There's some sort of wisdom or understanding or knowledge that you have that you need to bring out. So it's in your challenge position, which means that you have to stop fearing that you don't know enough. Remember last month, this kind of lack of self-confidence?
Right.
This is the sort of the same kind of thing, only it's time for you. It's time now to bring it out into the open, that which you know, the understanding, the wisdom, the insights that you have. And so your challenge is to become more open and confident in that.
Interesting, because the next card that came up was the Two of Swords reversed.
Another reversal.
So it's similar actually to Judgment, because reversed, because, you know, the Two of Swords in the upright would say, hey, you know, you kind of want to keep everything in balance. So you're not really facing a given situation. You're just ignoring it. And sometimes we will call this the, you know, sweeping everything under the rug and having a dinner party card, okay? It's like you just kind of keep living, you keep going along with what's happening, and, you know, you kind of reserve, you're reserved too. There's a bit of that going on here. You keep things close to the vest. You don't really make decisions. You reserve judgment, kind of, which I'm wondering if that Judgment card may also mean that your challenge is to reserve judgment.
Right. Deciding, not making a decision about something.
Right.
You see, not keeping that, it's either keeping the blindfold on just to preserve the situation so that nothing decisive happens, until you kind of reach this kind of breaking point where you're forced to decide one way or the other on an issue. But
it's reversed though. So you're like loosening it up at like mid-month.
Right. You're loosening it up, or it could be again an exaggeration of the card too, which is you even get more blinded. One or the other. You either loosen up that blindfold and face the truth, or you get further away from the truth by not being decisive.
Right. Well, the situation seems to be one that is going to require some kind of decision.
Right.
At some point, because at the end, what we have, boy, what an interesting Gemini reading. Yeah. This is a situation going on, like sort of like school, right? Here's your lesson for the month.
Right. There is a lesson, and it's I mean, judgment is there's an important challenge to be met.
Yeah, if you're gonna rise to the highest level of your highest self.
Right.
This month, because at the end, what we have is the Five of Swords in the upright.
Oh my goodness.
So at the end, this is what I like to call the rock and a hard place card, where it's a no-win situation. And I'm going to try and hold this up so you can see. It's an interesting card. You can see that there's someone who has won the battle, but there are two guys who are walking away, but they're probably coming back. So he probably hasn't won the war.
Right.
So we're in the middle of a situation that requires you to come up with a solution that allows you to, and that's why I'm going to go back to this Knight of Cups, become a mediator, turn that around, become a peacemaker.
Right.
To come at the situation with I'm hearing pure heart, okay? Like honesty and sincerity, and, you know, wanting the highest and the best for all involved. you have a decision to make, obviously, and you have to face some tough, maybe facts, a couple of things that you'd prefer to ignore, but it looks as if at the end of the month, you know, if you take Spirit's counsel, you can become a peacemaker.
Exactly, exactly. Now, sometimes you see it spells some sort of conflict, some conflict at the end of the month. But in this conflict, you need to be absolutely clear about what is it you want? What are your objectives? What are you willing to let go of, sacrifice in order to win this argument? Because winning isn't everything. It's about compromise as well. Otherwise, it's an empty victory. So what it's saying is that you need to be absolutely honest with what you want from this interaction, because someone's going to lose and someone's going to win. And maybe that's what you're not facing in the Two of Swords reversed, is you don't want the conflict. You don't want to make a choice. But at the end of the month, some sort of choice has to be made. And maybe there's a winner and maybe there's a loser in this. And
well, the interesting card in this whole reading is this Judgment card reversed, because for some reason, this is even though it's sort of a mundane situation, it looks as if it's important to your spiritual growth.
Right, it is. It is. And again, I feel that it's again resurrecting your self-confidence. And the Knight of Cups reversed means to get in touch with your deepest needs on an emotional level, and to be totally respectful of that, what it is you need, and not to compromise there in that. You can compromise and be diplomatic, but never to go against your heart of hearts and to face the truth of the situation.
Hallelujah. Where's that fifth card? Maybe Gemini gets the free fifth council card this month.
All right. Yes.
Because we have
poor guys.
We have a fifth card, Major Arcana only. And every month, well, Ava does all 12. They're beautiful. And every month we will post one as a sample, an example of how fabulous this fifth card is. So yes. I'm thinking maybe we offer it to Gemini this month.
Let's do it, because they seemingly would benefit greatly from it.
Yeah, I feel as if this reading isn't over.
No. There's the waters are stirring in September. There's something that is agitating the waters in September, but some sort of conclusion will be reached at the end. That might be a little bit disquieting, but
it might be, but it's also important, once again, for you to graduate that world that we had. There's some spiritual growth that's happening right now.
Right.
And this situation is going to move you toward that if you allow it to.
Right. So that you can place things well in your new world, and to create the world that is more idyllic for you.
Right. So don't resist.
Don't resist. And keep honest in your heart.
Yeah. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
Woo! Okay, so if you like a personal and private reading, Ava, tell them all about it.
Yes, we do readings for people all over the world. I just had the question yesterday. Someone asked me, well, how can you do a reading for someone when you don't even see them? They don't touch the cards. And I said, well, you know, the tarot does not deal in the material world. It deals in the spiritual world where there is no time. There is no space as such. And all that's needed is a spiritual connection to the person that is established via the questions. That's all. Spirit is not handicapped by distance or time. It doesn't care. It is as accurate as if I had the person right in front of me. So don't be daunted by the idea that this is done without you coming into someone's home and having a reading like that. It is often even more accurate this way. That's my experience about it. So that's that.
There you go. So it works.
It works.
So anyway, come back next month. We're going to both dress up as the oracles of Delphi. And then I'm just going to move right past that into subscribe to our channel. And we love you very much, Gemini. Mwah.
I have a lot of Gemini friends.
Have a fabulous September.
Bye.